Hi everyone, welcome back, and in this video I'll be giving you some information on building product roadmaps. So let's get into it. So for those of you who don't know what a product roadmap is, a product roadmap is a visual representation of the various milestones of a product's development. So in order to develop a product, the end product is the end goal, but the very journey of building that product is what we call as a roadmap, and the visual representation is called as a product roadmap, where we will be able to see the different milestones that need to be covered in order to meet that ultimate goal and vision of the product. So it shows what features will be developed at what point of time, as well as the goals of a milestone. Okay, so all these get to be covered in a product roadmap. So now the question is, who are all interested in a roadmap? Why do you need to, build a roadmap? So if you see, generally the people who are interested in roadmaps are the clients, the product stakeholders, the development team, the investors, and even the very product team. Okay, so clients need to know where currently at what stage the product is in, as well as the product stakeholders. The development team also needs to know what is, the upcoming roadmap that looks like, what are the upcoming initiatives that they can look out for. Even investors need to know so far what has been accomplished and what are the things, what are the goals, the different features that are coming up in the roadmap, and what are the different things that they can look out for in a product, and then they can take a decision as to whether they can invest in the product or not. So there are different use cases in which these roadmaps are used for, and also roadmaps are used for planning out, different releases of a product by the very product team. So all these are the members who are involved in, defining, I can't say defining the roadmap, but they are very indirectly or directly involved in this roadmap journey and in defining the roadmap. Sometimes based on, the client's priorities, or there might be some important priority, a goal or feature or requirement. So based on all this, and also sometimes it can be the market demand, the marketing team, the sales team, what they kind of, feel that, users and customers are looking out for. So all these kind taken into consideration is what we use in order to define the roadmap, and these are the users who are kind of interested in this roadmap. So generally there are different types of roadmaps, I would say, but to, generalize it into two main types, there is one called as a goal based roadmap and another one called as a feature based roadmap. So if you see, the goal based roadmap totally defines and, represents the goals of a product. Okay, it's at a very high level. When you look at the feature based roadmap, the feature based roadmap has certain milestones, but at a featured level. Okay, it gives more details. So if you see, in comparison to these two, you might be thinking, why build these two? But there is a reason to having these two types of roadmaps. The goal based roadmap is for the clients, the product stakeholders, and the investors. In overall, I can say the business team. So their main, focus is on what are the goals, what type of goals are we looking at, what are the goals that we have accomplished. So they are not kind of really interested into the very in-depth integrities of the product and the feature level. They just want to know, to strategize, for strategizing reasons, for other investment reasons, for other, XYZ reasons. They are more focused on, the very high level goals of the product. So that's why you need to, customize your roadmap that suits the audience. So in this case, it needs to suit the business people who are really not in, interested into the technicalities and the feature level, the in-depth integrities of the product. So this roadmap suits these type of users and, stakeholders. On the other hand, if you see, the feature based roadmap has features in it. So this is more for the technical team, the product, the development team, the actual core team working on the product development. So apart from the goals, I can say, they don't, of course they need to know what the goal is and why are they actually solving these features. But apart from the goal, they need to have more focus on the features that need to be developed, because that is what they are interested in and they are responsible for. So that's where you have a roadmap that has the feature level details of the different initiatives and releases. So it's for this type of roadmap, you can use it for development teams to convey the goals as well as the features. So I hope you got an idea as to why we use different types of roadmaps and for which type of customers and users we customize these roadmaps. But having said this, whether it's a goal-based roadmap or feature-based roadmap, generally the details that need to be captured for a roadmap is stays the same. Okay, so there are different tools available in the market where you can, kind of create roadmaps for your product. So there's a lot of product management tools out there, and you can, choose any tool which is suiting your kind of needs and requirements. And if not, we have Excel there, which is all time useful for any use case. So be it whatever tool you're using, or whatever project management tool, or whatever you're trying to build, whatever type of roadmap, make sure you have these details in it. So it has to have the duration as to when each milestone is going to occur, the start and the end date, as well as the version of, or the version of the particular release of the initiator. Apart from that, you need to have details such as the goal. So the goal, what type of a goal you are looking at for that particular release, or for a milestone, or for an initiative. Now, pains is not something that is mandatory or needed or even part of the roadmap, but I choose to have the pains over here, and it's super helpful because when you have pains, you define the pains of users. It's very easy to convey, the value that you're trying to provide to the users. So that's how you can have a section, but it's not mandatory. You can have it as optional, and it's just best. Sometimes you tend to forget what are the pains we are trying to solve, and indirectly what value we are trying to give. So just having that there is more useful when you kind of want to just look at the roadmap, look at a milestone, and then check and tell what type of goal you're solving, what value you are delivering. This is something that would help you. And apart from this, you need to define the features. So whatever features are associated to this goal, you need to kind of define the features over here. And that doesn't stop over there. You need to have the success metrics. So now you have a goal. So every time you set a goal, once you accomplish that goal, you need to see whether it's a success or not. Sometimes you have different metrics by which you used to kind of evaluate whether you have reached that goal or not. So that can be defined over here in success metrics, and this is filled up first. If initially you might assume certain success metrics, or you might already define success metrics, but most of the time after executing that milestone, you can even cross check and validate whether the actual metrics that is shown is kind of in coordination and in sync with what you estimated or determined to be. So that's the success metric part. So when you have these details, it's kind of a blend of both the goal based as well as the feature based roadmap. So if you're speaking to higher level business teams, you can go with the higher level details of the goals. Okay, but if you're going into the details of speaking to technical teams, the development teams, then you need to define what is the goal, what are we trying to solve, and to achieve this goal you need X, Y, and Z features, which is when you go into the feature level and define what are the different features, and then what are the different pains that you expect to relieve the customers of, and what are the success metrics that we are aiming at. So it's kind of a blend of both types of roadmaps, but this is some core information that you always have to have when you define roadmaps and milestones. So I hope this information was kind of useful for you. So if you like this video, please do give this a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe to this channel, and also do share your feedbacks. Thank you.